Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News at 6 tonight. I'm Mark Hanrahan.
And I'm Whitney Ward. Thank you for being here. KREM 2 is following up tonight after a big development yesterday in our ongoing investigation into the Spokane Shock.
The indoor football team officially has no league to play in and nowhere to play games. We have confirmed at this hour the IFL has officially kicked the Shock out of the league.
Now, team owner Sam Adams told us that he will now try to join a different league like the NAL. Today, though, the National Arena League told us they would not entertain an application from Sam Adams. All of this is following our extensive investigation right here at KREM 2, which unveiled a history of late payments and defaults from team owner Sam Adams to the PFD throughout all of last season. The IFL told us based on our investigation, it then opened its own internal investigation into the Shock and Adams. The organization tweeted this statement out saying, "We felt it necessary to move on from the Spokane market and adjust our schedule accordingly." Today, we did talk with the director of entertainment at the Spokane Arena, which is where the Shock used to play. He says the loss of this year's season with the Shock is a loss for the entire community.
We were all disappointed with how everything was starting to play out, all the information you guys were pulling out with to the public. We were trying to do whatever we could to make it work. It's just unfortunate the way everything panned out, and especially the fanatics, right? They don't have something to turn to now, and I know they were extremely excited when it was announced back in 2019, and now now they're just kind of left hanging. They don't have anything to go to.
Today, the arena announced it will start sending out refunds to anyone who bought season tickets or game tickets for the Shock's 2022 season. Any tickets bought through Tickets West will be processed by March 1st, and people should see those refunds reflected in their credit card statements in about 7 to 10 business days. Also, as part of our investigation, we uncovered a number of former Shock employees who say they are still owed money from their time working for the team.
Today, we talked to one former ticket sales manager who says he was never paid, so he turned to the State Office of Labor and Industries.
I needed a job because the pandemic took mine away. So I was very excited to, have a job at all. And then of all things for it to be back with the Spokane Shock and back in sports. It was a breath of fresh air, at least I thought.
And so you were very surprised then when they called you in and said, we're done.
Yeah, I couldn't understand it at all because the last thing that I had told my boss is I had sold out all of the tickets that I had that he had given me.
What was the reason they gave you?
The reason that he had given me is that he was upset that he had to, roll over at 4 a.m. and see a text that I had sent him 11 the night before telling him that I had sold out, because that day he was going fishing and he didn't like that, irritated his fishing trip. But either way, they didn't end up paying me at the end of it, and that just became a nightmare.
So then you went to L&I as an effort to try to get your money back. What happened?
Yeah, they laid a judgment and said that he has to pay me $1,200 in restitution plus interest, which I still have yet to receive that money. And they also, the Spokane Shock, Sam Adams, got a $2,000 fine on top of that. Mm-hmm. So he could have just paid me $1,200, but now he's got $1,200 plus interest plus a fine. And I still have yet to get it.
When did you decide that you had to take the next step and go to L&I?
I had an email chain where at one point, I laid it out for him because he just asked me on a phone call, like, look, just put it in an email. What do I owe you? And I'll get it to you. So I put it in an email saying, hey, waiving the commission, 2 weeks, $1,200. That's it. And he responded saying, I bet. Another week went by. I didn't hear anything. I didn't see anything. So then I was like, that's it. And now they don't even have a season to bring in money. And man, I would have loved for everything to go right and be selling Spokane Shock tickets right now.
So if you'd like to see our full KREM 2 investigation into the Spokane Shock, just text us the word SHOCK to 509-448-2000 and we'll send you our investigations directly to your phone. Let's talk weather. Thankfully, the sunshine has stuck around for the past couple of days. The lows in the 30s today made it feel like the start of spring with the cold temperatures we have been having.
It's actually a beautiful sunset out there right now. We want to check in with Chief Meteorologist, of course, Tom Sherry, and we'd love to see more of that sun through the weekend.
Well, I think we're going to see it on Saturday. It'll be a different story on Sunday, but my gosh, look at how golden it is downtown. The sun set just after 5:30 tonight, but my gosh, absolutely gorgeous. It's going to be another cold night, though. Right now we're at 27 degrees, and we're going to look for well below average temperatures as the clear skies will lead to something referred to as radiational cooling. Without the cloud cover, it's like imagine yourself sleeping without blankets. When we have clouds, it redirects the heat back down towards the surface, and when we don't have the clouds, it just radiates out into space. So we'll look for an overnight low of 12 degrees. Sunshine tomorrow. Look for snow to fall early Sunday morning, and then late Sunday afternoon afternoon into the early evening hours, it will change over to rain with a daytime high of 42. I'm tracking more rain and temperatures maybe hitting 50 next week. My 10-day forecast just minutes away.
Well, blasts shook Kyiv today as Russian forces continue to advance on Ukraine's capital. U.S. defense officials say the Russians have been slowed down by a resistant Ukrainian military, which now has been bolstered by citizen volunteers. However, new satellite images show a large deployment of Russian ground troops and helicopters in Belarus.
Now today, NATO says it is activating its response force, marking the first time it will be used for collective security. Thousands more U.S. and allied troops are now making their way to the eastern flank. The UK Chief of Defense Intelligence says Russia's objective is to gain control of the Ukrainian population and, quote, change the regime. The Biden administration announced today it is moving forward with personal sanctions now on President Vladimir Putin.
In alignment with the decision by our European allies, the United States will join them in sanctioning President Putin and Foreign Minister Lavrov and members of the Russian National Security Team.
Ukraine's president has said that scores of people have been killed. More than 130 deaths have been confirmed. Kyiv's mayor is warning of a difficult night ahead for the city as Russian troops continue to circle the city. In a video statement Ukraine's president posted with his top aides, he said, quote, "We are all here. Our soldiers are here. We are defending our independence." For days now, Ukrainians have fled their homes to dodge the waves of bombs as Russia invades their country. Meantime, a WSU athlete from Ukraine is watching her hometown turn to ashes from Pullman.
She shared with our Amanda Rowley just how difficult it's been to see those events unfolding so far from home.
Katerina Maestrenko is on the rowing team at Washington State University. She is living across the world from her family who live in the heart of Kiev, Ukraine. Since the invasion, she's been in constant contact with them.
Katerina Maestrenko's home country is being torn apart, and she can't help but worry about the safety of her family and friends.
It's just like a constant fear of waking up and not knowing if my family and friends are still alive.
Photos shared by loved ones in Ukraine show an almost unrecognizable neighborhood.
There's the kids. They just woke up at 5 a.m. They just didn't have their house. They didn't have anything.
She doesn't even know if her own school or family's apartment is still standing.
I don't know if anything like left of my apartment, but there was like a bomb right by that.
Her family fled from their apartment to their country home about 30 minutes from the city.
We have a big basement and where they're able to take like people there. There's like more than like 40 people right now. So my dad just like opened the doors to some of the kids, they don't have families, and some of the just neighbors.
She says they keep the lights off at night and armed themselves with shovels. Still, she says nowhere in Ukraine is safe.
People try to run away from like big cities to the small towns, but there's no such a thing as a safe place anymore.
Katerina prays for her family's safety and the safety of her friends who are fighting for peace in Ukraine. Many of them are only 18 years old.
Meanwhile, she remains positive and hopeful the violence will end and her loved ones will be kept safe. Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
And if you would like to know more about Russia's assault on Ukraine and how you can help, just text us the word crisis to 509-448-2000. We'll send the links right to your phone.
All right, still ahead tonight, most Americans are living in places where healthy people can drop the masks. More on the new CDC guidelines and if Spokane County is one of those places.
Plus, later tonight, an historic nomination. We'll have more on the woman who is set to become the first black female Supreme Court justice.